gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank, all right? I'm joined by the 20-time champion, a 2-time world champion, a best in the business, a legend to the scene. Give it up for the co-host of The Flank, Mr. Patty P, a.k.a. Aches. And then we also got the executive producer of The Flank, one of the main guys over here at these events. He's a staple. He's a legend. You guys know who it is. It's Ben J. the scene. Ben, Pat, what's going on with you guys, man? It's been a long time, eh? It's been a while.
A minute.
A minute, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long break.
Much,
a long break, man.
Just been working, doing my thing. Got X Defiant. We're rolling out some good stuff. So.
Hell yeah, man. How's that all going with X Defiant? I saw Clay was like, he said he was playing it.
Yeah, Clay's played a couple of weeks. The insider sessions have now opened up the NDA, so players can now freely talk about the game after they play it. No stream or anything yet, but players can openly talk about it. So
cool.
Getting some COD pros in there, and everyone seemed to like it, so it's going pretty good.
So when it comes out, we'll be able to stream it, right?
Yeah. Right now we're in the closed testing phase.
Yeah.
So right now the NDA is just you can play the game, talk about the game, tweet about the game, do whatever you want, but no recording and live streaming as right now. But yeah, eventually that'll happen.
No, I'm gonna have to play that. I'm gonna have to play it on stream. I've been playing a lot of different games, and since it's been a long break in COD, I've been grinding a lot of just different shit. I'm addicted to Val for sure. Definitely addicted to Valorant a little bit. Been watching it, been playing it. Just a big Val guy over here. It's been a long break for COD. What about you, Ben? How's everything going? Everything good over there?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a little bit of time off after Major 2. We obviously had Resurgence. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Man, all these weeks blend together. But getting ready for Pro-Am this week. Going to be interesting. People are in town for Columbus over at the Belong location in Polaris. And yeah, I'm excited for this kind of mid-season break to be over and to get to the back half of the season and really see kind of how things set up for champs.
Yeah, so go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
Is it true we have another break coming up after
Don't tell me that. Is there?
That's what I saw on Twitter. I don't know if it's true. Ben, can you confirm for us what the rest of the?
There's no. If there is, there's no way.
It's on the website.
There's no way it's another month. This break was long, man.
Nah, it's like a week or two. It's not a big break.
Okay, that's the thing. If they want to do a week or two break, I think it's fine. A month break in the middle of a season after a 5-month off season, to me, it makes no sense. There's just too much downtime.
It's felt longer than a month. No bullshit. It
has been. It has been longer than a month. I think. I'm pretty sure it's been longer. It's a little bit more than a month, but. Whatever. The break is almost over, and we got the Pro-Am coming up this weekend. We have amateur players, challenger teams, the top 4 that went to the event, right? Top 4 made it into the Pro-Am, and here they are, man. We got 4 new teams playing up against the pro players. How do you guys feel about this? You think some of these challenger teams are gonna be able to take down some of these pros, or what? Because I think they can.
It depends on what pros we're talking about. I definitely think it's possible. But I still think the top dogs or the pros it's going to be almost no contest for them. But I do think some of these, teams that have been struggling, and even some of these teams that have just recently made roster changes, I'm not too sure how they'll stand up against some of these challenger teams, especially these EU guys, because they haven't gotten any practice against them, right? And I think that's something that even the NA challengers team struggled with.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel my bad. A little, chat, Lily. Hey, a little bit of a production issue. I clicked the wrong scene by accident. I'm bringing up the picture for you guys. But go ahead, man.
To follow you up, Pat, yeah, I think we'll get into breaking the groups, but I think with the way that this format works, where you've got 14 groups, and so you're playing 3 games, all it takes is one upset, and these groups can get kind of nuts and come down to map count. So I think, and we'll get into it, I think probably the best chance, the 2 teams that probably have the best chance to make some noise are probably the Toronto Academy teams based on teams in their group. But, I will be surprised if, one of these amateur teams makes a buy in a nice little 2-1 in the bracket play.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the teams. We got Group A, Atlanta FaZe, Seattle Surge, Toronto Ultra, Strike X. We got Optic. Strike X, is that Silly's team?
Yeah,
that's Silly's team. And then we got Group B, Optic Texas, Florida Mutineers, Minnesota Rocker, Ultra Academy EU. Group C, we have London, we have LA Thieves, New York Subliners, Team War, which is interesting because 2 of those teams changed. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And then we got Group D, Boston Breach, Los Angeles Guerrillas, Paris Legion, and Ultra Academy NA. I've heard good things about both Ultra Academies. What group do you guys think looks the hardest here? To me, Strike X got put in a pretty tough group. You're going up against Atlanta FaZe, Seattle Surge, and Toronto. I know Toronto hasn't been the best in hardpoint, but they're still a good team. You know, definitely a rough 3 for them. But what do you guys think?
I think for me, if you're looking at it, I think Group A is, I think, probably not the best chance for Strike X. And I think Atlanta and Seattle probably favor there. I think the hardest groups here, and we'll get into kind of some of these roster moves and some of these subs playing. I think it's probably B and C, just because of, I think Toronto Academy EU and War are going to give some of those pro teams a go run for their money. And I also think amongst the 3 pro teams, outside of Optic and Group B, I think like it could get kind of mixy with some 2-1s, and we can see some kind of weird placing and upsets happen in those groups that make them pretty difficult.
What about you, Pat? Any group that like catches your eye and you're like, okay, that's gonna be a good group?
Looking at A and C, I don't think the AM team win a series in either of those groups. In my opinion, I think Ultra Academy in Group D, the NA team, really stands a chance to, potentially get a couple sneak away wins.
Mm-hmm.
The Group B is going to be a little tough. I mean, it kind of really depends on how Florida comes out and plays, and what we see out of this Rocker team. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be all that impressive in terms of the moves that they made. They moved Priestess to the main, I believe, and attached down to the flex and picked up Havoc. So I don't. It really just kind of what we get out of them in Florida, whether that EU Academy team can make a run in Group B. But otherwise, I think Group D is really the only shot that I could see some upsets happening.
Right.
I think B. So let's go team by team, because I think B is one of the more interesting groups. So you got the Optic situation.
I don't think that matters
with Illy and General. Well, I mean, I still would favor them to get out of this group, even with General.
Yeah,
but it's interesting of note. Florida, had some momentum from the last event, didn't play too poorly, so they might come out and look pretty good. Before we get to the Minnesota Rocker team, I kind of like this Toronto EU team. Now, that being said, they had the situation with Harry now getting called up, so they've had to shuffle their lineup a little bit, so not really sure how much practice they're going to get in for this event. And I kind of want to follow you with Rocker. They're one of the teams that I'm really interested in to see how they play at this event. Had trials, ended up dropping Major Maniac for Havoc. I think the real key focus point for them, because they're such a good S&D squad, before the changes, do they continue that? And does this move suffice their goal of trying to get better as a respawn team to really move the standings and compete with the top dogs? I think that's a huge open question, and we'll see what happens at the event.
And even so, I mean, I don't think, looking at their group alone, even if they win every respawn in this group, I still wouldn't be sold on them as a respawn team improvement. But to your point, Ben, I think you're right about the S&D. I think Major Maniac was, a big key, piece for them in search. And obviously Havoc's not like some garbage S&D kid. He's obviously very talented at search, but I think their dynamic changes a lot with this swap. So I really don't know how they're gonna fare. I mean, I think this could be the case of them just coming out and having a honeymoon stage, possibly. But in the long term, I'm not buying stock in that Rocker team.
There's been a lot of changes. It was changes for Minnesota Rocker, right? And then London with the quick change, because Gizmo has to go back home, so that's going to be a change. New York went through a little trial period. They're bringing in. They haven't announced anything, right? Nothing has been announced, but I mean, we know that Kismet's been over there. Kismet's been trialing with the team. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring Kismet on. I don't know what's going on in that camp. We'll wait to see what happens, but no announcement yet coming out of them. And then anybody else that we need to know from teams? I know a lot of teams were looking to change. But that looks like the only 2 teams that made a change, or 3.
I think the team that might be next up, the Toronto Ultra situation is interesting coming to this event, because they've got their 2 academy teams.
Yeah.
And they're the team in Group A that I think right now, if I had to rank all of those teams, oddly enough, I think they're the 3rd team out in that group. And I think for that team, it would be a huge moment of crossroads for them if they don't get out of this group. Where they're going to look at their roster, considering what's happened between now and Kickoff Classic. They might be one of the teams that I think is probably under the most scrutiny and the hottest light going into this event.
Yeah. But it is a single elimination tournament, right? Like, how much weight would you guys give this tournament? Like, I've seen people talking about it, you know.
Hardly any in the long run.
I
hardly
agree. I mean, you're going to a single elim tournament. I think that's where like a lot of the you know, the amateur players coming in, they were super disappointed because it's not a good opportunity for them. I mean, it is a good opportunity to get in front of the camera and showcase yourself a little bit, but you don't have much of a shot. If you lose, you're out. So you know, teams aren't getting a second chance at this tournament. And I'm pretty sure the Challengers team won't even be on the mainstream at all. There's going to be multiple streams. We got 12 matches on Thursday, 12 on Friday. So, you know, a lot of matches to be played. I'm sure the league and Esports Engine or whatever, whoever's running everything, you know, are doing a great job trying to get all these matches together because it is a lot of matches. But we'll definitely be watch partying that throughout the couple days. But what do you guys... Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
I was just say, I'll talk about the changes because I know the Ravens.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to bring up the changes.
I was telling you guys, they are going to regret letting Paul go. 100%. I'm sure they are right now. I think that's something that we can kind of look back on as the year goes on and see what, you know, happens, whether Gizmo comes back or not. But obviously, I mean, Harry's good, but I think they're really going to regret letting Paul go.
I heard from a little birdie that they wanted Paul back weeks ago, and that could have been because Gizmo has to go. He has to go back.
Wasn't he already on New York at that point? So like what? What were they gonna do?
He was already on New York.
They kind of missed the boat then. There, and I agree with Pat. Like that's gonna be a move and a decision. Looking back at the end of the season, I wonder if they're going to be looking at we had a potential really good asset on our team.
On a 10-day, he was locked into a 10-day.
On 10-day, we let him walk, and now he's, you know, been a plus add for a New York team that hasn't yet kind of found their footing. So yeah, I agree with you, Pat. I don't know, man. It might be a tough one for sure.
So I want to talk about this Major Maniac a little bit because we didn't talk about it much. I know Pat brought it up briefly. But do you guys think they're making the right decision here? I mean, Colt, you know, he declined the offer to, what was it, New York? He didn't want to go there. I think he whatever. He ended up not going. There's a whole lot more to that, but he ended up not going to New York.
It was talked about.
Yeah, we talked about it, and then now he finds himself on Minnesota Rocker. I guess they gave him a little offer. They started doing, you know, a little trial, and they started interchanging players for a week or two. And it's going to be a Tatch, Priesta, Havoc, and Standy, who's going to be the team going out there. And Priesta will be on the main AR. Not sure if you guys heard that, but Priesta's going to be on the main. What are you guys' thoughts about that? Do you guys like that? Dislike it? I mean, on paper the roster looks good, but so did the old one. So
yeah, I don't really care for it. I'm curious to know who they trialed out. Like, do we know if
it was just Havoc?
Just Havoc.
There's
no one else that was involved.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they weren't in a position to make a trade, but I guess that could be said for all the teams, and there just might not be that landscape for any trades right now. But I mean, I'm assuming that this entire change, they were thinking they were wanting to move Preston role wise, not necessarily get rid of him, but move him role wise, because he's now done flex, SMG, and now they're trying main. So it's like kind of the last role for him to try.
Yeah. He can run every role. He can do anything.
Without a doubt. But I don't think this is going to necessarily fix their
hard point.
Their hard point.
That's what they need to fix
in general.
Here's my thought. I think, and so during this break, I went back and watched of the teams that were making a lot of changes. I went back and watched a lot of VODs because I'm trying to kind of understand. Sometimes it's like, well, is it like a personnel issue with the team, and they need to adjust that, and one change is going to fix that, or is there something with their system? Are they behind? Are they not like kind of figuring out the game? I think Toronto and Minnesota, when going back and watching VODs, are teams that play a little bit differently than other teams. If you put their situationals side by side with a team like an Optic or FaZe, their approach to the game doesn't necessarily match up. And I'm really curious in Minnesota if that's something they're going to look at as a team, because I agree with you, Pat. Like, I don't think bringing in Havoc on for Mike is going to make a massive, massive change to the respawn game. They might get kind of incrementally better by adding Havoc on, but I don't think it's going to help them kind of crack that topper echelon. And if you look at their advanced stats, you know, it supports the issue with their pacing. But beyond that, you know, it shows that they're not doing an amazing job of both breaking and holding hills and hard points. So I think we'll kind of see how they perform at this event and sort of the beginning of Major 3. But I'm very curious from kind of the eye test and also seeing how they manage some of these situations, especially in hardpoint, if they're kind of still having the same struggles of not getting ahead early on in that first hill, not having a high break percentage, really trying to end up then playing these early rotate 30 positions and not really maximizing and front running on hills and getting in a good position to build a lead.
You know what I find funny? I'm assuming Havoc learned from his experience with the whole NYSL thing, but like the whole reason that he didn't want to join NYSL is because he wanted to bring on Kismet, but now he finds himself like realizing that that was just a pipe dream and he joined a team without bringing anyone on. Because I would argue in my stance, I think that this current Rocker team is worse than that NYSL team with Paul. Like getting that change with Paul, I think that's a better team than this Rocker team.
I don't think Havoc wanted to play with Krim.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it had to have come down to.
He wanted to play with Clay, I think.
That reasoning was just wrong, I think.
I mean, when you look at both rosters on paper, I mean, they even up to me. I just remember Havoc saying something about, you know, he didn't like the system over there or the culture. Like, I think maybe Havoc was a little scared of just the team vibes over there in New York. And can you really blame him? I kind of don't blame Colt for that. I feel like New York over there was a super shit show. Like just bad vibes all around. Just it was just.
But I think that was with Krim and Clay combined, right?
Right,
like
but did he know at the time that Paul was there? Like, did he even know? I don't even think he knew.
Yeah, I believe so. It was, remember, because Paul was in that conversation. Like, remember, it was like they were talking about getting Paul, and it would be whether Clay or Krim was there.
My argument to Colt when he was saying all that was like, okay, well, go over there and change the culture, change the system. You know, go over there. If you want to move some things around, and then, you know, and change it up. I mean, you're the guy coming in. The team's shit in the sheets. It can't get any worse. You're going to be the guy to turn it around. You could be that guy, you know? But whatever. He ended up not doing it. And now he's on Minnesota Rocker. And I think that he is going to bring a lot more to the team in Respawn. I feel like Minnesota Rocker needed somebody on a sub who just kind of does like dirty work shit. Standy's not really that guy, in my personal opinion. I feel like Standy's kind of just like that slay heavy roamer killer type of guy. When it comes to making the right plays, I think Colt's gonna do that a lot
Tom,
for them.
I wanna take that a step further. Like I think the problem with the Havoc move and then moving Preston to main, if you watch how they played in the last major, you saw on the map, and if we want to go back and like rewatch that last Berlin hardpoint, for example, like you see a lot of situations where like, yeah, Preston's not getting a lot of individual kills. He's also not getting set up by his teammates well. Because he was the only player on the team really gap filling with a sub. And so like Havoc's now going to probably be thrusting that role because I don't see Dylan really changing his play style, especially now with sort of how 2ARs work and him and Preston kind of trading those power positions and the way Minnesota kind of play a lot of hills with spread. So yeah, I'm very, very curious to see how this changes their team system, because if it's a straight role swap, I don't really see a world in which they get incrementally amazingly better in hardpoint right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, listen, I'm not saying you pick up Havoc and whoop the fucking dough. You're the best team in the game. You know what I'm saying? The team was struggling, and they're still going to continue to struggle. But I think Havoc might help a little bit. Just because.
Have we heard about their scrims?
I heard their scrims have been doing well. But Pat, everybody you talk to does well on scrims. Everybody, I never talked to anybody.
NYSL was the didn't lose a map.
They didn't lose a map. They're the best. Everybody's the best in scrims. That's why whatever, scrims are scrims. You know, you can only take them so far. But we'll see what happens with them. And then what about London with Harry? I haven't seen Harry play that much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know much about Harry. He's one of those players who kind of fell under the radar for me.
These matches are all on land, right?
Yeah,
for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if this Ravens team is a little bit better. No bullshit. I actually wouldn't be surprised, because to me, Gizmo has been super good, but it's mainly been online. Like on land, he's let me down. Both at both events we've watched him, I haven't seen enough for him to kind of justify like his online performance being so good and then his land performance falling off. If Harry comes out and fries like some of these other, EU Academy amateur players, I think this Ravens team could end up being better than they were with Gizmo.
Yeah, and I also, I mean, just judging by what people are saying in the chat and just going off of socials and just other stuff I've been reading around, I mean, people are talking really highly about Harry. People are really gassing this up. Apparently, Harry beat the Stallions recently. So listen, this guy's doing his thing, and he's here for a reason. So I'm excited to watch him play.
Ultra, didn't he? And they beat Florida?
That was Hixie.
Oh, Hixie.
That was
Damn, there's all
Hixie.
these
What I'll say
European
for Harry and,
amateur
and the
names.
London
Yeah.
boys, like if you look at their group draw here, right? So they're playing a Team War team, and to remind people of who's on that team, that was the old M7 Electrified
Ben,
team.
if you can, Ben, can you just go through each challengers team and let everybody know what the rosters are?
Yeah, so talking about Team War, you got Dens, Wardy. Wardy played amazing, by the way, in Minnesota. I don't know if you guys were watching the Challenger screen, but he's probably their best player. Dens was pretty good. Denzer was pretty good in Challengers Elite, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Maple and Wee Man, who have been around, both of them have been around for a minute on EU Challengers.
Right.
Um,
Good team.
they're in a tough position with this group, but especially Wardy is a player that might stand out. We were talking about Strike X. That was probably the surprise team that made it of this group of four. Interesting roster. You've got Fire 40, Gunsy, Silly, and Ramby. So
that is a
They
crazy
made
roster.
their team
Crazy
like
roster.
a day
What
before
the
event,
fuckity?
did they not?
That is
they all were
They
insane.
came together super
leftovers.
quick. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
they
a
all
kind of
got
leftover
dropped
team.
from each team.
That being said, though, I think this group is a tough group for them. I don't expect them to do much in this group, but for some of these players, like a Silly or a Fire, if you come out and have a good performance in this event, it's going to change your stock dramatically. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
And,
unfortunately, they got Group A. So
yeah, and if we talk about the two Ultra Academy teams here, so you got Ultra Academy NA, looked great at Minnesota. That's the Hixie, Vickle, Mohawk Scrappy team. I think Scrappy's probably the player of the four that played the best in Minnesota, but I think there's a lot of talent in the squad. Mohawk got talked up a lot last year, played great. He's continued that form this season as well. Obviously, we saw what Hixie did in his one sub appearance in the CDL.
Yeah.
He's been pretty good.
That's a good team, Ben. That's a really good
Challengers
team.
Elite. And Vickle's been around for a sec. So I really like this Ultra Academy NA squad. We haven't talked a lot about Group D, but I think this team could potentially get out of groups. Looking at those squads in Group D, obviously Boston and LG are probably the tougher of the wins, but again, only 3 matches in this group, 2-1. You never know what can happen.
Yeah.
And the last squad we just talked about, this is the weird one. You had Harry was on this team. He was swapped out for someone in EU whose name now is escaping me. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah, who's the name of the guy that replaced Harry? Rafi.
Rafi's come in. That's a little bit of a late ad. The rest of their team,
Rafi.
Furious, Vortex, and Beans. Vortex is probably the name that people are most familiar with. He's been around for a minute. Was back in the CWL era. Played on kind of one of those kind of edge pro teams there for a second. So we know that he can slay with some of the best. They're a team I'm curious to see how they do in that Group B. But again, you got a Minnesota team that we don't know how good they're going to be. Florida, it's always been an up and down team, but has been played better of late. And Optic, obviously, playing with Generals. So those are your 4 challenger squads. And Tom and Pat, hearing those names, curious if you think which one of them might have the best chance of going through.
Ultra Academy NA. I think they got one of the best teams on paper, and I think they got one of the better groups drawn. I mean, Paris, LAG, and Boston. I mean, I could see them making noise in there. I mean, they're lucky not to go up against a FaZe or an Optic or anything like that. They kind of got. I mean, they got LAG who are the champions, but I think it's teams that are not that they can beat, and they're teams that if they do beat them, it'll turn eyes, right? Like if you beat LAG, you're champs. It'll turn eyes. The same with Boston, top 4 team, top 5, whatever you want to call them. It'll turn some heads. But go ahead, Pat.
Well, I was gonna say, what's the schedule like? Are they playing like all these matches in a day? Like, is it gonna be like back-to-back games?
Right
not
here.
like the
No,
typical-
it's so the you know how it was done like in the old era, and I do this in a lot of different tournament formats. Like the teams are kind of paired off. So 2 of the groups are going to play 2 matches on the first day and 1 match on the second day, and then the other one's going to play 1 match on the first day and then 2 on the second day.
Mm-hmm.
So
The reason I ask is because for these pro teams, right? They obviously have like no knowledge of how these teams play at all, nothing about what they do. So,
I wouldn't say that. I mean, most of these
very
teams
limited.
Outside of Silly's team, like most of these squads have been in and about Challengers Elite all season. So there's a lot of tape you can go back and look at, and even go back to Minnesota for most of these teams. So
didn't you say some of these teams have made changes though?
I mean, the one team that's made a change since Minnesota is the Toronto Academy EU team because Harry got called up to London.
Yep. And then we also got to talk about New York a little bit. I mean, listen, Clay and Neptune got to be out of there. I mean, the way they're tweeting, it sounds like they're not in there.
They've been gone.
They've been gone. I mean, if you just do trial and error here, I mean, you're left with Krim, Paul, Paco, and then the trial player Kismet. So on paper, because that's most likely what the roster is going to be. What do you guys think?
He was the only one trialed, Kismet?
From my understanding, he was the only one being trialed. From my understanding,
that surprises me. Not as like a dig to Kismet, but that does surprise me that like they didn't try out anyone else. I mean,
yeah,
I guess they were mostly running iterations with the people they already had. So I'm assuming Clay and Neptune were in those like trials, but it does surprise me that they didn't try out more with Trim, Paul, Paco, and someone else. But
let me give you kind of a scenario I think that might play out here, Pat, and what maybe teams like Minnesota and New York are thinking. The big domino that hasn't fallen yet in this roster mania, what's going to happen with this Toronto Ultra team? Because if they don't make it out of groups in Group A and they make some big swaps, suddenly players who I think have a lot of trade value, if they get benched, are going to be on the market at a significant buy low position. And
but who
cause
though?
Some of these teams to think. Well, Cammy, for example.
Cammy and Kleenex, if Cammy and Kleenex are not getting benched, in my opinion, there's a 0% chance that either one of them get benched on this Toronto Ultra team.
What about now? You don't think Cammy might be? I mean, Cammy's been super underperforming.
I think they've gotten worse, but I think overall, you're not benching those two guys.
I think Toby 100%. It'd be really hard to replace what he does on the team. But Cam, in the role he played, like they could attempt to rotate that a bit.
I can see them doing that.
And again, if Cam's on the market, if it's in a situation where it looked like they want to go a different direction, like I could see a lot of teams interested in Cam.
100%.
He's been their best player like back-to-back years almost. There's no way.
Not this season though. I mean, I think it's been a real struggle.
He started fine. He was very good. He just has hit a slow, like descending form, but I still think he can easily retain that. And if I'm Toronto Ultra and I have Cammy, there's no way I'm not keeping him, especially with the later half of the year coming up. There's just
you can't drop Insight though. I mean, you're not going to drop Insight. So
I'm saying I would move Bance and Insight before I move Cammy or Kleenex. And we also know how much easier it is to replace the main AR role than it is to replace kind of the role like Ben said, like what Toby plays and even what Cammy plays in some sense. There's just no way that those two go before anyone else does.
I don't know. It is a one game mode problem for them right now. So I'm curious to see during this break period. I feel like this is a really good time for them to just hound in on their hard point and just really focus up now and see what the fuck is going on. Because on paper, we know the Toronto roster is good. I feel like talking changes with this Toronto roster sounds crazy, but it's not crazy because they haven't been performing. But I definitely think that if they can put their get their shit together, I mean it's not like they have a whole just a whole team wipe and they have to just figure a whole new thing out. I mean, it's just a one game mode. And now that they have so long of a break, maybe they can figure something out.
And they were still losing extremely close games. Like
guys, the only issue is like they're in a tough group with two tough matchups. Like,
yeah, but Ben, this goes back to the Pro-Am. Like, how much weight are we putting on this event?
I would say if you're Toronto and you go 0-2 against Seattle and Atlanta, I think you're definitely going to be feeling a different way.
Atlanta's the best team in the game. Seattle is whatever everyone wants to call them, but they're, let's say, a rising team getting back to where they thought they were earlier. I think Toronto could easily demolish Strike X, lose the Surge and FaZe, and be out. And that would just be unlucky. They got the hardest group with two good teams. I'm not jumping the gun like just off the Pro-Am Classic.
I would normally agree with you, but as all things come in terms of roster moves, and some of these players on the Ultra Academy teams may be getting some interest. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that if they don't play well at this event, they look potentially make a roster change. I think
they get more interest than they did during this month and a half break.
Well,
dude,
if
this
one
month
of these
and a half
players
break told me everything I needed to know about the CDL and roster changes, and that's that no team is making moves that are like blockbuster buyouts or trades. That's what it told me.
I would say that. And Tom, I don't know if you've heard this, Sam. I think a lot of people are waiting until after this event for some of the panic button stuff that you're thinking
why
about.
Would you?
Why?
Yeah, maybe.
I
don't know why though.
Classic. We've already had two complete majors. Why would we wait with after the month and a half break of nothing,
that's a great question,
plus the Pro-Am Classic, which we all agree does not mean anything near as much as the main events.
So you're telling me, you're telling me that this is some player's last shot. Hey, buddy, we're throwing you in the Pro-Am Classic. This is your last shot. You know,
I don't fully disagree with you guys, but that's the chatter I've heard, and that's why we've seen some moves, but I think that, again, this is an event where there's 3 CDL teams in every group. Someone of those CDL teams, 4 CDL teams, are not going to be in the tournament come end of the day on Friday. And so you look at some of these groups and some of the teams that made changes, and I could see why people are waiting, because they're making a couple of moves here. They're going to see if this makes sense in a little bit of a honeymoon thing. And if it's still looking like they're having the same issues, they may work to make further changes before you get in this major 3, major 4 run. Because keep in mind, CDL points are going to be up on offer soon. None at this event. But if you look at teams like a Minnesota or Toronto, you're sitting outside champ spot right now.
And what do you guys think?
But I don't think Ultra falls into that category. Like, they lose to Surge in FaZe. Like, you can't just be like, well, we lost to Surge in FaZe. It's time to just chalk it up after a month.
What if they lose to Strike X? What if they lose to Silly and 540?
Listen, if they lose to Strike X, then shit, it'd be like that. That's like Enable was like, I suck a dick on a stream if that happened.
Nah, but he never did that, so now it's completely voided. You know what I'm saying? But I am happy for Fire 40 though to get back in here and show people we can do. I do feel like Fire 40 before he got into the league was like a good player. He was playing well, especially down in challenges. Obviously, when you get to the pro level, it's way different. But I feel like he was also in a system with Paris and just like in a really bad just funk and a really bad spot. And maybe the pressure was just too much. But now he gets a second chance. Granted, he's going up against some pretty good teams, but I'm excited to see what they can do. I feel like it's a good shot for 540 to kind of get his name back out there.
I think for them, this is like the opportunity to show off their individual talent. But to me, there's just no world as a team that they can achieve anything here.
But what about the New York roster, Pat? With Krim, Paul, Kismet, and Hydra, you think that all of a sudden these guys are going to magically start popping off now because of this team change, or what?
I don't think it's for the team change. I think even without this team change, I mean, I could argue that they have a fair chance to get out of this group. This group is such a toss-up for me because, and something else that we haven't talked on is Kenny, right? That Kenny is finally going back to the sub. This is the first time we're going to see Kenny on a sub in like 3 years. When was the last time? 4 years?
World War II.
Yeah,
last time was World War II. I guess the last he ran in World War II. Then Black Ops 4 came out and he ran the SOG for a week and said, "There's no shot he's running that shit." And he started running the Maddox, and then that kind of just skyrocketed him into an AR player. He's been running an AR ever since. So that's gonna be weird. The role change is gonna be super weird seeing him run around with a sub.
Yeah, and just see how he plays in general. Like, not even just how the Thieves play, but just how he plays. Because if he comes out in like World Stars, then it's like, bro, what the fuck you been doing the last 4 years? You know what I mean? That's my question.
The thing I'm looking for Thieves, though, Pat, is less about their respawn game and more to see if this role change frees up their S&D game and they play a little bit better on maps that are not named Tuscan. It's been a problem for them all season. They haven't been the best in the game mode. They've been really bad at executing when they're man up situations. They haven't been particularly good in man down situations. So I think that's your priority fix. If you can get your S&D game in a better spot, play your respawn map pool, you're going to be in a good position, because they're another team right now. They're sitting on 70 points in 6th spot. They're tied with Florida and Seattle in 7th and 8th at 70. And then it's pretty close beyond that. So you really can't lose ground, because I don't know if you guys have looked at CDL standings. These are sitting at 6 and 70. The next team is LAG, and they won the last event, and they're sitting at 115. So the top 5 teams have kind of separated themselves from everybody else. So you really don't want to lose ground to them, where you're going to be in a really gritty kind of race with some of these other teams to try and get a spot of champs.
Yeah. Pat, I see you in the chat a little bit. If you want to just tell everybody kind of what's going on with that.
Yeah, I swear, bro. Chad doesn't even watch. No bullshit.
What they say that made you.
What are you talking about? Kenny ran a sub in Cold War. Like, no, the fuck he did not. I literally got in an argument with Cap on Twitter about how they believed he was so good on a Krig that he could end up running the fucking main.
That's how it was though. Bro, Well, no, I don't think Kenny was a bad main. I just think they need work in their system. You know, like
Yeah.
they
It's not
definitely.
effective.
Yeah. I think I actually didn't mind Kenny in the main AR. Even in Cold War, I said Kenny can run a main. You just need to have the right people around him if he's going to run the main. So clearly, Sam and Kenny, especially if you guys watch the little series that LA Thieves does and uploads to YouTube, they were talking a lot about communication up top on the subs with Draza and Envoy and how they don't really communicate what they're doing, and that it was hard for them to kind of play around that because they weren't like. Basically, what they said in the video is that the sub players weren't talking. It's hard to come up with a play and work together when your subs are making plays and you don't know what they're doing. What do you guys think about that?
I don't buy that. That's fugazi.
I think I agree with Pat. I think there's a little bit. Listen, everybody's got their own different sides to the story. My thing with Ken going to sub is, like, if you think about where the Steve's team needs to get to be, I think he's going to be his most impactful alongside Envoy. And I think Draza moving to the flex slows his play style down a little bit more, forcing him to play a little bit more by the book. He's got incredible gun skill. We've seen it over the last couple of years. But what's really hurt him this year is I think he sometimes is making some bad decisions off a spawn with a sub. And I think the AR is going to force him to have to make the right play on the map and set his team up correctly. So looking to see how that cascades starting at this event.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for the pro. I'm excited to get it all on board. We got some role changes, roster changes, amateur teams. I mean, it's just going to be a clusterfuck, and it's going to be really fun to watch. So I can't wait to watch it. A lot of matches Thursday and Friday. We had a broken record in the CDL, ladies and gentlemen. Gersh broke the record for the most liked tweet in the Call of Duty League so far in CDL history. So it's sitting at 70,000 likes right now. FaZe Blaziken said, "What virgin is running the Subliners account?" And here comes Mr. Gershi with a picture of Blaze's sister. Of course, Blaziken was very, very, he was laughing at it too. Blaze is a cool dude, man. Blaze he was laughing at it. He said, tell your boss to give you a raise, which is not good because I'm the boss. So I got to give Gersh a raise. And New York Subliners, of course.
That was a good tweet, but
Good tweet.
Stop fucking memeing and announce your team.
Yeah. Hey, Gersh, I don't know what's going on with that.
Too busy memeing and you're not announcing the roster.
Yeah,
Pat,
I don't know what's going on there.
Breaking news while we were live on the show. A tweet from the New York Subliners 11 minutes ago. Announcement tomorrow morning.
Announcement of the announcement. I hate those.
There you go.
It says announcement tomorrow morning. Dead ass. That's what they tweeted. They said announcement. Dead ass. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you see Gersh keeping it real professional over here.
Did you see the first reply to that?
No,
Did your organization hand over communications to a toddler? Can we have an adult update the org's Twitter?
I got my first comment is it more NFTs? Here it comes.
You gotta find the guy named We Love Patrick T. That's who said it. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. You see it? Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
But
Yeah.
listen. Like if you're an org like the New York Subliners, like, you got to come out and you got to grow your brand, and so you're gonna incentivize guys like your Gersh. I know they had a few other people social media run over the last couple of years. You got to get a little bit of attitude. Get that New York attitude, Tom.
Yeah, you do.
So I don't mind it.
No, I don't care.
Guys.
What's going on?
Asim.
Oh, Asim. This is a surprise guest? A surprise special guest or something?
Little surprise guest.
Oh, shit. Asim, I actually just got these Skittles gummies and they're heat, bro. I was thinking about you because I know you like Skittles.
Skittles are my shit.
You guys should go try them out. These Skittle gummies, no ad. Not paying me to say this, but these Skittle gummies are fire, man. It was good. Really, really good. But listen, Asim, we're about to get into the Reddit questions on the second half of the show. If you want to stay with us for a little bit.
I'm down. Let's do it.
All right, let's see what some people were coming up with. First question is, how do you guys feel about the Minnesota Rocker moves? I feel like benching Major is a huge mistake. We already talked about that, so we don't need to touch on it. Let's talk about the results of these trials. Which org, Rocker, NYSL, came out better because of it? Would be a good segue to discuss Major Maniac being dropped. I think New York won the trial, right? I feel like New York has a pretty good roster.
Both teams lost, and the reason I think both teams lost the trials is because in the long term of this, I think this was very negative for like the player side. I think if you're a player and sometime later, let's say the Rocker offers you, I think this is going to be in the back of your mind that like this org is an org that's like running these trials and benching their best players. Like you saw Krim and Paco going on social media talking about how they were benched. Major obviously feeling disrespected. Like I think this is just a loss for both of these teams to especially run a public facing trial. So
Yeah.
I think both lost.
I'm looking at some of these other questions. A lot of them we already touched on about the Toronto struggles. We talked about it. This is a weird fucking question. I don't know. This has 76 upvotes, by the way. One of the most asked questions on this Q&A.
You can actually read this question out, man. Like,
Yeah, of course. Have sex with a goat, but nobody finds out. Or not have sex with a goat, but everybody thinks you did. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. If you're that guy that everybody thinks you fucked the goat,
you're screwed.
dude, you're fucked, bro.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Next question, Tom.
You know what I'm saying? So pretty much like, dude, you know what you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Try not to get on TOS. Next question.
You know what you need to do, man. What is this? If the CDL expands to 16 teams next season, what 16 players do you think get picked up as of right now? Do you think any retired or ex-pros try getting on teams?
Classic is for sure getting picked up.
Nicky D, and the goal is a good shout.
Nick will obviously get thereabouts, but this is like kind of a tough question because there's half a season left. So who knows kind of the stock of players in the
Brezzy?
next, what, 3 to 4 months. Brezzy's a type of player that I can definitely see making that jump. You know, he's been at the past pro level, hasn't been there recently.
Waskin's a good shout.
You
Raps is back.
gotta think about how the expansion works, though. It's not necessarily the talented players that'll get the first shot. Like, there's a lot that goes into that, as we saw with the initial CDL. Like, I think it's a little bit more complicated. I think that people who build the teams, they'll be like a couple guys who get on first, and then pick their team from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we'll see how it all goes out. I think there's a lot of talent outside of the top 12 in the CDL right now, like in challenges and stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. When Scump retires, who do you think will be the next poster boy? I mean, Shotzi, right?
yeah.
If he's on Optic, yeah, for sure.
So you think even if Shotzi was off Optic, you don't think he'd be a poster boy?
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I
He's
think
not
him
now.
being on Optic sets him up for that. But like I think if you had, let's say Shotzi was on Optic and another player was, you know, Dashy or someone else, then I think it could be like if Simp or a BZ joined Optic, I think you could have that discussion. But I think if Shotzi stays on Optic, it'll definitely be him.
I think Dashy's a pretty good shout too. He's been on Optic longer. But I just definitely think Shotzi, with everything he's done and just on top of the content he's been putting out, it seems like Shotzi's doing,
It's definitely Shotzi.
Yeah, I think while Bruce is streaming a lot, I think Shotzi's got more of that entertainment presence. I think if we're gonna look at someone being like Scump's successor, unquote.
Yeah. Somebody said, in your opinion, who is the most underrated player so far this year? Underrated. That is a good question. Who is the most underrated player so far this year? Asim, who do you think, being a player that you play against? Who's somebody you
Not
play
even
against?
close.
Yeah, people
Mac.
don't. People
That's a great answer.
people
It's
never
literally
talk.
Mac.
People
He's the
never
best
talk
player
about
in
Mac.
Seattle, and it's not even close.
People
I
never
think
talk about
he
Mac like
was
that. People
underrated.
call Mac good, but you know, with Mac, people don't look at him like as some superstar. People are like, yeah, he's a good player, but people don't realize how good he actually is. I mean, just to give you a little history on Mac. I mean, you remember how good he was when he came into our New York roster, and MW completely turned the whole roster around. And then going into Cold War, I mean, he performed. He did his thing. I mean, he was good. He had his ups and his downs, and then we get into the new game, and he's right back to frying again. So it's like, I definitely think Mac needs to get a little more respect on his name, because he goes under the radar a little bit. And why do you think that is, Ace? You think it's because he's a quiet kid, doesn't really show a lot of emotion?
Yeah, I think he's just a really quiet kid, and just like, you know, he's always keeping to himself.
Yeah, he needs to fucking start talking shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what he needs to do. What were you gonna say, Pat?
I'd probably say Asim.
Oh, thanks, man.
I don't think Asim's underrated anymore.
Not anymore, but I would say last year and like maybe in the beginning of this year I was, but like I've been getting my daps recently.
No.
so-
Yeah, up until you won the event, the only reason why you were on a pro team is because I'm friends with you. That's what everybody was saying.
That's the narrative. You're right. That's true.
That was the narrative. This guy sucks, this and that. Bro, it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, man, you came out and won the event. And you did your fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Underrated is interesting, though, because I still think that you've been probably the best, if not most important player on LAG. And I think that in terms is underrated because I don't think you're getting that type of credit.
I mean,
that's
I
true.
want to give one. I don't think it has much to do with stats. I think it's in terms of expectations. You know, Trey Zero had a year off, obviously because of the unfortunate issues with his visa. And he's come in and helped mold this London team into a really interesting squad that I'm excited to watch and chart their progress throughout the season. They've been brilliant at SA tier almost the entire season, start to finish, and they're sitting in a cool third spot right now in the CDL standing. So, obviously things could have gone the other way with that time off, but he's been an important part of that team for sure.
True. Yeah.
Yep. Somebody said, Pat, give me stock tips. Pat, you got any tips for this guy investing in some stocks?
Yeah, not a financial advisor, so don't take my advice. But if you're actually interested in investing, just buy a S&P 500 index fund, dollar cost average, whatever you got left over every month. Don't look at it.
I like
and
that.
when you retire, be happy. That's all you
Look
gotta
at
do.
it. We got the stocksman in the chat. We got Lamar's cousin.
Ace will agree with
We
that.
got
for
Mr.
anyone
Ace.
not
Yes,
actively
sir.
doing anything.
Yes, sir. Ace, if you guys are interested in, learning more about stocks and kind of what to do with your money, go check out the Stocksman on Twitch because he's always live telling, helping people out on, if you guys need like a little financial advisor on Twitch, the Stocksman is your fucking guy. How you doing?
He's a smart guy.
How likely do you think it is that the CDL expands to 16 teams next year? And if not, is that a troubling sign for the future of the league? I don't think any of us have any fucking idea if there's going to be expansion next year or not.
I think we don't know. And I also don't think, I think for the league, it's like now that, again, this is the last I think about CDL and more about esports macro in general, because I think all the esports right now are kind of in the same boat. It's figuring out how to get in this post-COVID strategy of having your league moments and your climax events around these live events where fans can attend again. I think that's going to be sort of the thing that the whole industry's been dealing with the last couple of years, with pandemic and not being able to, have these moments where fans in the thousands can attend your events. I think for the CDL, it's they've gone through 3 seasons and they've had 3 kind of different season formats. It's standardizing that format, adding some stability, and making it predictable for the fans so they can know what to expect year after year.
I think it's highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely that it expands?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was on the more of the likely side that we're definitely going to expand going into the next year.
I think there's interest, but I think it's highly unlikely that it expands next year.
We'll see. I mean, we got a new title. I know teams were interested before this season started, and a couple teams fell through. I know one backed out late. I know there's a couple teams interested, but then the league ended up not expanding, and everybody backed out. But I know there are a lot of teams and organizations that have been very vocal about getting themselves into the league.
I think everyone wants to be involved with Call of Duty. I just think there's a lot of ROI concerns for these teams.
Definitely a lot of concerns.
That jump. And I think that's the blocker that always ends up causing teams to not pull the trigger.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with going into next year. We'll see if there's any expansion. I definitely think if there's no expansion, it is a little troubling for the future of the league. But what are you gonna do? I think the most important thing for our league is a good game. That's the most important part. But let's go on to the next one. What's the over/under for how many matches AM teams will win at Pro-Am? I have no idea. Do any of you guys know what the over/under is? I have no idea.
We're just making one up at this point.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say max 6.
You say max 6? That's what you say? Would you agree with that, Ben?
I think 6 is high.
I think 6 is really high.
I think let's pick 5, and I would say
all teams play 3, right? I don't think any in Team A. I think Team C has a shot.
I say 3.
Team D definitely has a shot.
3? I mean, listen, I'm not
maximum 3.
I'm not
I
like
see
a
2 in each of those groups.
I'm not a gambler guy over
2
here,
in
so I
each?
don't even know, 3, 6. Like I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about. When you
No,
talk about
Tommy. There's 4 AM teams. Every AM team plays 3 games each. How many in total do you think they will win? I say 3.
Okay. You say
Strike
you think
X
3?
is 0.
Yeah.
I think Toronto NA could win 2.
You think Toronto is going to win 2?
3's a good shout.
Yeah, I think they could win
So
2.
you're saying they're going to either beat us or Boston?
I think that whole group's a toss-up, to be honest with you.
Okay, but like the academy team isn't okay. I'm not gonna say that, but like I feel like the big chance they have is like against Paris too. Like I feel like it's gonna be good.
I mean,
That's
listen, regardless, you're all guessing. You're all guessing
Yeah,
anyway.
it's all
So
guess.
it's all an
guess
opinion.
anyways,
It's all
yeah.
guessing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has any idea, but we'll see what happens. I have no idea how some of these challenger teams are going to come
You
out.
also got to think it's not just the groups, right? Like if one of them gets through, then that's matches going into the bracket.
Well, you got also the
yeah,
tough
true.
thing is you also got to think like
True.
you guys have played in sort of these pool play events. Like that first match, like coming in with being a little bit cold, not really being kind of yet in that mindset. Like there's a lot of like potential instability in how those matchups can go. So, and the tough thing, this isn't like a CWL group where you're playing 5 games, right? So if you really struggle in that first game, okay, you got a couple more pool play games and you play the open team. Like if you lose that first game, you've lost a head-to-head tiebreaker with that team, and now you've really got to capitalize on your map count the next 2 games, because it's likely that there may be another team that's 2-1, and you really need that head-to-head, or if it's a weird 3-way tiebreaker funky situation, you're gonna need that map count on your side.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one, man. We got who's the best player in the game in your guys' opinions? This guy said,
I don't know. I forgot. It's been 6 weeks.
It's been so long, I don't even know what's going on. This guy said Zoomaa will say Shotzzy, Ben will say Cell or Dashy, and Aches will say Cell. Do you think that's accurate? Because I'm 100% saying Shotzzy. So.
Listen, Tom, I'm gonna go back to
I like Shotzzy, bro.
Tom, I'm gonna go back to what I tweeted like some point, like I think it was Major 1, about how it's really funny to me, and I guess it speaks towards sort of the development of the league, that all of those kids used to play with each other whenever it's Pock and S&D are now a collection of the best players in the game, plus Shotzzy, who's kind of now coming to that group. Like that collection, that squad, are really kind of dictating the direction of these top squads, and they're probably like 3 of the top 5 players in the game right now.
Yeah, there's somebody under that. Somebody under that says Zoomaa will say it's the harder role. Ben will say he's made huge improvements, and Ace will call Cell a weirdo. Well, I mean, bro, these are facts though. Like he's at least for my. Hey, bro, listen, this guy's spot on for me, because I think
definitely a harder role.
I think everything revolves around Shotzzy. I've said this so many times that they already know what my opinions are on this. But who do you got, Pat? Who do you got? Who's your best player? Or did you forget? Did you actually forget?
If a BZ didn't get world starred in that grand final, I probably would have said him. But
really?
Yeah, I'd probably go Cell.
Oh, interesting. I didn't expect you to say that. What about you, Ben? Would you say Cell or Dashy?
I think it's. I hate to lean into what the Reddit post is, but I think MC and Bruce are probably the 2 players right now that are probably 1 and 2 in terms of. If I had to figure out kind of the MVP standings, I think they've both been so impactful with an AR and what they bring to the team amongst all 3 game modes. I think Shotzzy's a good shout in that conversation. But I think the 2 AR players are probably your 1 and 2 right now in terms of MVP rankings.
Yeah, so this motherfucker Ronnie got it. Read us like a book.
Calling ARs MVPs though is so shitty in these type of games.
But I mean,
depends what the AR's doing.
I normally agree with you, but like,
yeah, just the way they play.
It depends what the AR's doing.
Hugely impactful in what they do for their teams, and it's not just like in respawn. They're both so much and such a huge part of their S&D systems, and both of them have excelled so far, both on LAN and also, the stage qualifiers are also for CDL points too, and both those players have played well there as well.
But if we're going off like statistics, like Zin is the MVP based on the fact, like I just hate because stats play such a big part in like how these people are perceived, and like Dashy, Cell, like these guys just have insane looking stats. Don't get me wrong, they're obviously talented. But it's just like in terms of like depth in their role and how hard it is to play their role, it's always going to be an SMG player who I think is so much more valuable to the team. Which
then won't surprise me if we see this conversation pivot towards the 2 players that have been this conversation for 2 years in a row, which is Simp and Shotzzy. Which one of them is going to win it?
I would argue Shotzzy plays more like a BZ though than.
No, I'm not saying. I agree. I'm not saying they're the same playstyle. I'm saying that they're the 2. If you're going to go with this old SMG logic, like they're the 2 players that I think have been 1 and 2 in terms of SMG play, at least consistently over the last 3 seasons. If you take away Shotzzy's first 2 events, Simp obviously didn't play good. Probably the first and a half events this year. Outside of that,
they've all been inconsistent on that FaZe team. Outside of Cell, all 3 of those guys, Alec, Simp, and Abizi, have been inconsistent.
I think if you go look at
was there a role change with FaZe?
I'd hope not.
What MC going to main and that? What is that? What is that? A troll? What is all that?
This is sort of the evolution.
I've noticed a change in it though.
You have noticed a change in it.
I've noticed when I scrim them, like when I'm playing them, they feel a lot more faster because Alex has been playing out a sub more recently, and he's been playing a lot better with it too, like with the pace that.
But what map did they even pull out a sub on?
Well,
Most
I noticed
days
it
they
more
run
so in
two-
S&D a lot.
Oh, okay, S&D.
And I don't know. I can't say about the respawns, but I think in some controls too. But like, I have noticed one. I've noticed a lot in S&D for sure.
Interesting.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It seems lateral in respawn because they never run three subs.
Yeah.
So I want to bring us over to this next question because I've heard multiple things from multiple different people. Does one trophy system per team ruin the game that much to the point where they need to be GA'd? I get some hills will be harder, but it only blocks 3 nades. Asim, I heard trophies are GA'd from Shotzi's stream because they clipped it.
Yeah.
So what was the
Practically
main reasoning behind the trophy GA?
Probably the fact that it came in 8 months into the game.
That's the
Right?
only fact.
Is that the main reason?
Yeah, there was no discussion.
I mean,
That was,
I
the
didn't
only
want to
fact.
answer the question for you. You know.
Yeah.
but
That actually pisses me off that it could have
hold-
been in 8 months ago and it decides to come in May. Like,
But you don't think that's still fugazi though? I mean, it's in the game now.
It's not. It's fugazi for the players. Like, it's fugazi. No matter how you look at it, like it's fugazi that it got GA'd and it's fugazi that it even happened because. If that was a launch item, I guarantee you it would not have been GA. They would have been playing with it from the get-go. But the fact that it came in 8 months, it's the same thing with the Volt. Like the game, it's such a massive dynamic change. Like, and not the Volt being like massive, but just any type of change like that happening this far in, when like the shit the stakes that are at. It's not like we have a fucking multi-year game that they can progress at. Like the time window is so fucking small. And for something just to come in last minute with little to no practice and they constantly are on this, it just feels kind of dumb.
Are you calling a timeout or a tech?
I want to go back to what was just said here, and just I want to understand kind of if you don't mind, Sam. So you're saying the reason that it got G8 is because it came in late to the game. So my follow-up question to that is, we had a couple of weeks in between when there were CDL competition, and no point. Obviously, I know it's come in kind of later into that break. Like there wasn't a discussion of should we try it out and see how the game plays with it.
They did try it out. Asim, you guys didn't try it? I personally think one trophy would be good. Personally, that's what I think you guys should have done. I think you guys should have just used one trophy, one player run it, and that's that. You put it down, it blocks 3 nades. You can shoot them in 1 to 2 bullets, 2-3 bullets. They're done. And it'll stop some of these like P5 Tuscan hills where there's 8 fucking tags hitting the fucking hill at one time. You know what I'm saying?
I think on a P5 it would help, but like, bro, there's other hills like P1 Gava 2, bro. Like you're telling me if there's a guy on that heady and there's a trophy, like he's not losing that gunfight.
Well, someone just said P3 Gava 2. I think that's a great example. Like, or like, look what happens.
Wait, that would make that hill godlike.
So I got a question actually.
Control and offense will play way better.
So Asim, do you think if the game came out with trophies, that the trophies would have been GA'd after playing the maps with trophies and realizing how unbreakable some of these hills would be?
See, that's a different topic.
That's a good fucking question. That's a good fucking question.
That's a question where you're giving us 3 months before the season to try.
The problem is for trophy systems and there to be a real meta around this shit, there needs to be EMP grenades. And that's a big issue.
And they don't have EMPs either.
EMP grenades are the one balance trade-off for trophies, and where you can actually strategize around it. And I think without that, it's really hard. Obviously, it's a World War II setting, and they weren't going to have trophy grenades.
Say is, there's no EMP in World War II.
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest problem. And there's a game out there that does have EMP grenades. www.defiant.com. Anyway,
shit.
Next question.
There's one, I just read that. My bad. I read the papaya. I'd like to hear an argument for both sides on a take that being a slower and more patient player is bad and being a faster and more aggressive player is good. It's all situational, man. At least this is my opinion on it. I feel like a good player knows when to play fast and when to play slow. And I also think that it depends on your team composition, right? You have somebody like a Beezy who's so go, Shotsy, go. And then you have somebody like Scump or Simp in behind who kind of roam and slay. Like the team composition and play styles, it all comes into one, right? Like it's a team game. It's not an individual game. But I think situationally, you have to know when to play fast and when to play slow.
I will say situationally, that is 100% facts. Like it's all situational. But what I've always said is
better to be faster.
A slower player, it's harder to push a slower player to be faster than for a faster player to slow down.
Yeah,
always
and
said.
I also think that if you have a team that's super coordinated playing really fast together versus a team who's super coordinated playing
Playing
slow,
slow together,
the
they're
fast
gonna
team
lose.
is always
Yeah.
going to win. They're always a step
gonna win more
ahead. They
times
always
than the
have
slow
map
team.
control.
Yeah,
They're always
yeah,
putting the
yeah.
pressure on them. The faster team always wins. Or is not wins, not always wins, but it's majority of the time.
More
I think
times
it's
than
more
not. Yeah,
consistent. I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
the better team is the team that plays at a fast pace and the team that plays at a slow pace.
Facts.
I wanna. Someone once came on this show. I don't remember who it was. It was either like Looney or Karma, and they used this point to speak towards like why a player like Shotzi and Simp are so good because of their unpredictability of playing both those ways, and you just
Yeah.
never know in a given situation if they're going to play a deep corner and you're just not going to check it, or if they're just going to ego chow you when they're on like a 3 or 4 streak.
Yeah, it's what makes him so good. Like, bro, somebody like Simp, he's so good because sometimes he's in your face, sometimes he's playing a corner, sometimes he's sitting back on a head glitch. He just constantly switches lanes and
Yeah, he does
switches.
switch it up.
And he's very hard to play against. He's a very hard player to play against. But let's see what else is going on. Pat, you would agree with all that stuff that was just said?
Yeah, I'd agree.
All right. How do you think LAT will do at the event? I don't
feel
know,
like they
man.
have a good group to gain confidence again. I know you guys probably talked about the pools, but the one thing I said about their pool is I think this is a great pool for LAT to bounce back because they're playing a struggling London and a new New York.
Yeah,
have
I'm
they
not
been playing?
sure. I have no idea. I
Who?
heard from
LAT?
Octane on
LAT.
stream that
I don't know.
Sam was saying on stream. Not I heard, but Sam was. I've been saying I heard a lot. People have been fucking roasting me for that. But Sam was on stream talking about it. He said that they've been looking better. But Pat, what do I always say?
Dude, every team hasn't lost a
Every,
map.
te-
after
every
they made
team
it.
is the best fucking team in scrims. Every team is the fucking world's best major champs in scrims. Everybody. So it's very, very hard to judge that. I personally think LATs will look better, but I don't think they're gonna come out and win. I can see them getting a good placing, but I don't think they're gonna win. But we'll see.
You want
They
to
could
get your
prove me
stock
wrong.
up? Just don't play and then join a team that makes a change. Because then you can just everyone on Twitter be like, yeah, they haven't lost a fucking map. They're gross.
Why are pros afraid to change? I mean, I feel like pros aren't afraid to change. We've been seeing a lot of changes.
Yeah, no,
well,
definitely not.
If anything, pros might be scared to change because they don't want to get dropped.
Wait, Tom,
they
I
don't
feel
want to
like-
change. They don't want to
I
be the
feel
ones
like
to
the
go.
last 3 years of the CDL just goes to show you how many changes have been made, bro. Last year,
Look at all the young guys.
going to this year, there was only 2 teams or 2 or 3 teams that didn't make a change.
I think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
what's-
league,
what's
that whole
wrong?
friendship
Like,
league shit should go out the window too.
Yeah, that shit's gotta go.
Guys, another timeout. Let's not act like
Oh, here we
back
go.
in the CWL era that people weren't just blowing their teams up after like one event. And I mean like a
They
full
were.
squad.
They were.
Or
In the
Yeah,
what
so
era? In the
Nobody's
what era?
acting like they weren't.
the CWL, even going back towards like the Ghost era, like the early days of Call of Duty, like people were making wholesale roster changes 2
Yeah.
sometimes 3
Why-
times a
that's
year.
that's a positive.
Yo, Tom, why this fool Ben's looking like a referee out there on the cams? This guy's got a
Dude,
black-
he's giving me
Wait,
guy's got
text,
a
bro. He's
black and
giving
white
me a
striped shirt
text.
and he's
Wait.
calling it timeout and shit.
It's navy blue and white.
And
Yo,
I-
Yo,
timeout
he
to
does
give
got
the
a dude.
ref.
He does got a straight shirt on. This
He's
guy's
got
a
a striped
fucking.
shirt on,
What are
bro.
you, the
This guy's a
fucking
ref.
referee? Get the fuck out
I
of
would
here.
say that's a positive though. No bullshit. That's my opinion. I think that helped
Oh, it
keep
is
the
a
scene
positive.
fresh, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of entertainment around that factor. Like people would be fucking on Twitter looking up roster mania drama. Like roster mania was a real thing, and it would go into events, and people would make changes after
Oh,
events.
it's a really good
and there
thing.
was so much more on the line for not only the players but also the fans. Like you knew, like if your team got shit on, that they would probably be facing a roster change.
Yeah. Let's
Well, I
get
mean-
into oh, go ahead, Asim. You guys
The
something
last
else?
thing I was gonna say
Yeah,
too
go ahead,
is
go
like,
ahead.
bro, look at Houston Rockets as an example. Like they got a bunch of young guys, but they're just getting shit on this entire year. And obviously the NBA is different; you can't make changes. But imagine we had like a team like that where they're just going 20-62
Forget it.
record. Like, bro,
Forget it, bro.
if
It's
somebody-
not
if
gonna
somebody's
last.
getting
It's
shit
not gonna
on,
last.
You got to make a change.
Yeah, it's not gonna last. What was the team in Overwatch or some shit that didn't win a map or series?
And then they won the next
And
year.
then they won the
next
Yeah,
year?
the next year.
Did
Yeah.
they change
The
throughout when
Shanghai
they
Dragons.
weren't winning a map, right? That season, did they change
I
at all?
refuse to believe they didn't change.
They
refuse to
they
believe that,
shuffled
too. I
some
don't
people
know.
on the
Oh,
roster.
they did
but
shuffle.
also,
Okay.
But they also just won OWL champions.
Oh,
last
right.
year,
Yeah, yeah, I
the
know.
That's
project
crazy.
worked
That's
out.
That's one of the
insane. That is
craziest stories ever.
insane. It was, to be fair, it was a whole new team. They wiped the whole team.
That's true. Yeah.
But it was just funny that they just came off a season where they didn't win at all, and then they came into the next season and won the fucking thing.
They were like number 1, number 2 most of the year. Absolutely
crazy.
dominating the East region in Overwatch.
Next question is what happens to FaZe if they fail to win this event, especially when you consider Optic are playing with a sub and a lot of teams having new rosters. Seems the prime time for FaZe to grab a first event win this year. I mean, it's single limb. You know, that goes to my before we answer this, because I saw a poll in the chat and nobody has really asked this yet. But do you guys consider this event a championship win? Do you consider this event a win?
Yes, regardless of the format, all the teams are there.
I think I consider it a win as well. Oh, here comes Pat with the timeout.
Hell no.
Why not, Pat?
No.
Why not? You don't like the single limb?
Dude, there was a month break. Teams are trolling, running trials. You got General subbing in for Illy. You got all this bullshit going on. Hell no, this ain't a chip. There ain't pro points on the line.
Well, first of all, all that subs. Yeah, but all that subs and trial shit, Pat, that's fugazi, bro. Okay, any other sport or esport shit might hit the fan. LeBron might fucking sprain his ankle before the grand finals. Are we? You know what I'm saying? Can you not count the chip anymore? You know, at that point,
I thought we solved this argument earlier this year when we
tournament to tournament. Every team is there.
If every team is there and it's a tournament, and regardless of the format, you won the event.
So y'all are counting the kickoff then?
Yes, I count everything.
All the teams were there, and you had to win a bunch of matches.
I count everything, Asim, everything. I'm one of those guys. I look at Crim6's resume. And I see the shit he be counting. I count everything.
I don't care.
I don't care who's there. I don't care who's not there. Everything counts at this point. Some things count more than others.
That Optic team deadass won a tournament in Australia where they were literally playing only Australian people. It was like a 4-team tournament. There was like one other Australian pro team. The other people just joined the tournament from the casino and they won the event and counted that shit as a chip. Listen, the days of counting these
we can't not count this then if people are counting that.
It's the opposite. We need to fucking mark
my
those
argument to that, Pat,
and stop counting the fugazi.
But Pat, nobody is gonna take that off their resume. Nobody.
Crim, bro. Seth got some fugazi ones.
They all do.
I'll take them all off.
They still won a shit ton of non-fugazi ones. Like they've won a lot of events. They would still be the. Yeah, nobody's saying that before anybody's fucking haters. No, we're not hating.
Inflated a little bit counting the fugazi ones.
Yeah, I'm just saying, what are we counting or what are we not counting? You know, and the reason why I'm like, listen, I'm counting it is because of that. Just like so much fugazi that has been counted. I'm like, you know what? Every team's there. It's a professional event. It's being held by the CDL. Nobody's going to that event to lose. Everybody's gonna try and win. You know, whether it's not obviously you don't weight it like champs, but every event doesn't have the same weight to it. So
it's not a major. That's why I think like in the CDL era, we're only counting majors. That's how I look at it.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, you know, we agree to disagree. Everybody, you know, it's everybody's opinion. I'm curious.
Does Scott count the Warzone fucking shitty one? I bet he does.
He should. Wait, that should count though. That shit was lit.
Not as like a major event win. That's a separate thing. Like it's like 30-time COD champ and then like Warzone.
Nah, he won 100 racks though. He won 100 racks though.
I could go to the casino and win 100 racks. I'm not gonna add that up.
It's got nothing to do with COD. It's got nothing to do with COD, Pat.
Listen,
you know,
I like how far we've gone away from the original question that we were trying to answer here. So I want to remark on that one.
Listen, chat. At the end of the day, a tournament to tournament. Is there a prize? Is there money?
Yeah.
All right then.
How much money is there?
It's half of the major, 250.
Oh, this is some food.
Damn, it's 250,000. We are counting this. Are you kidding me?
This is some food.
We are counting this. You know, even bro,
champs prize purse for this.
Hey, listen,
it's unbelievable.
I don't know what it is.
If it's decent money.
Ben, what is it? Is it 250 or is it 100?
I'm not sure what the prize money is.
I swear it was. I might be tripping. That might be on me. Chat. I don't know.
But
everyone's saying 100K. 100K.
Everybody in the chat.
Listen, at the end of the day, though, man, a tournament's a tournament. Some people might count it. Some people might call it a Mickey Mouse chip. Whatever. A tournament's a tournament. We're all excited to watch it happen. Whether you count it or not, that's up for you to decide. I'm sure, you know, but that's like 50-50.
This can't be a Mickey Mouse chip. There wasn't college teams in the bubble. At the NBA champion, there wasn't college teams in the bubble.
It is what it is. It is single limb. That was my argument to it, but I count it personally. But let's go on to the next one. How do you guys think?
We didn't even answer the original question.
Yeah, we did.
Time
What do you
out.
mean?
Yeah, we did.
What are you talking about?
What we did?
Yeah.
What did we say? What was our answer?
You and Ben said you and Tommy said yeah. Pat said no.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
was
you're
the
talking
other-
about
okay.
you talking about the Reddit question.
The Reddit question.
What happens to FaZe if they fail to win this event, especially when you consider Optic? I mean, I don't think
true.
I don't think you FaZe, even if they fail to win this event, they're gonna FaZe is just we gotta change the team now from a single limb pro
yeah.
am.
Eagles still be
You
the
know,
best team in
like
the game if they
yeah,
fail to win this
they
event.
they don't care.
question's
They won't
hilarious
care.
to me. Bro, they're sitting first in CDL points right now. Would it suck to show up to the first 3 events, be a top team and not win? I'm sure they're not happy about it. I think the biggest thing with them, if you look at kind of their full package right now, is how average they've been at S&D all year. I think that's their biggest focus, I think, coming in this event. They may get better with the 3rd control map. We haven't talked at all about Berlin control. But I think the S&D improvement's got to come around the corner. It absolutely, Asim, you guys absolutely crushed them S&D in the grand final. And they're a team that historically prior to that event was, in that conversation and maybe one of the best S&D teams of all time, but they haven't been so far the last month and a half.
Wait,
First of all, I did not prove my point by saying FaZe is not going to fucking they're not gonna blow it up if they lose this event. Obviously, you weigh some tournaments more than others, but in my opinion, if there's a tournament and all the teams are there and there's money, that's that. You count
Wait, this doesn't affect the CDL standings?
No.
Oh, it's a major 3 practice land then, with a little money sprinkled on top.
Bro, okay, we'll agree to disagree on this one. I don't agree with you.
Practice land. All teams get some practice on land.
little money sprinkled on top. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. How do you guys think General's gonna do? Think General's gonna do his thing with the Optic boys or what?
I think,
He's literally joining the 2nd best team in the game. I think he'll be just
I think he's gonna do his thing too. I think he's gonna do his thing.
I think
he's
George
gonna bubble
General
off.
has played. If you watch how he's played in Challengers, he's been pretty good so far this season. I think the big gap that they have to fill with Inter not being there is sort of the bridge with the comms. That being said, if you kind of watch sort of the gameplay this year, Dashy's been a little more talky than we've seen in past seasons, but they lose a lot. Inter shot calls a lot for them, and I'm curious if General's gonna be that guy to step up, or it's gonna be somebody else on their team.
Listen, bro, if Shotzi's playing like that, he's chilling.
Yeah.
I don't care if they mute their mics. Especially the good guy. He's chilling.
Ethan, you see this fucking guy, man?
Bro, he's acting like we're like rank play kids.
Yeah, bro. He's come on.
Wait, you're not even in their group.
I am a big Shotzi fan. No, I do think Shotzi's
I
fucking
think
nuts.
Shotzi's the best
He's
player
insane.
in the league, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I don't know. And then other than COD, I feel like we touched most stuff. You guys watch Halo at all? You guys beat the Halo event at all?
Well, the Halo event was amazing, by the way. Shout out
Halo event was
Sentinels.
fire. Halo event was sick.
The Sentinel boys are back, baby. After
Yeah,
dominating
I want
Halo
to say
for so
something on
long.
the flank.
Frosty is
Before
the
the
best,
tournament-
bro.
Before the
You did.
tournament
Yeah, you did.
started, I called that Sentinels was gonna win the event,
Yeah,
and
you
people
did.
call me crazy.
No, you did.
So I just want to say that.
I think Frosty really showed how goaty he is too.
He's goaty. He's goaty.
You know, he's won in COD. He's won in Woody, boom, boom. What, Halo
He won
5,
different
COD Modern
Halos.
Warfare, and now
well, he won champs. He won back-to-back champs, right? And the other Halos.
did he? What? I don't know what he won in the other
They were-
Halos.
bro,
Wait,
they
no,
were-
yeah, he won. He with that Sentinels team, like they
Yeah.
won like two
Which-
world championships.
I thought there was only 2. And Kyler's team won the other. Or not Kyler, sorry. Shotzi's team.
Shotzi's team. Yep.
Don't
Oh,
tell
that's
me
cool
he's
that they
definitely a
have
two-time
two.
world
That's cool
champion.
that they had 2. That's cool. Oh yeah,
There was
he is.
three.
He is
There
a
was
2.
three.
Yeah, he is a 2-time
There was
Halo
3
World
Halo
champion.
5 ones.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
say that-
Shotzi did throw
Halo 5 was a blur.
Well, I'll say about Halo though,
Yeah.
right now, like it's obviously kind of their event calendar. You're gonna have a couple of these kind of regional lands, and then you'll have another big land kind of at the end of the summer. You got 3 like really good teams. Optic obviously has made big improvements. Kind of came apart at the seams a little bit at the end on Sunday. I think that's a big thing they got to work on. A formal tweet about it after the event. I think Cloud9's obviously very good coming off of winning the event prior. And Sentinel is now back at the top. Like, it is a really interesting mix if you look at those 3 teams. And you've got some interesting teams on the outside of that. Like, United's been low-key kind of pretty good all season. FaZe had some decent places at the first event, not so good at this event. Halo's very interesting, man. Event to event, man. I'm really excited to watch kind of more of the events this season.
Yeah, no,
For sure.
Halo was really fun to watch because I co-streamed it the whole weekend. Shout out to Halo for allowing me to co-stream, and it was just fun. Just really good games all weekend long, and just like some upsets as well. I think a lot of people thought Optic C9 were gonna battle for the chip, and Sentinels came in and took care of
Yeah.
business. So you know, it was fun to watch. And you also can never write off Sentinels. I don't know why people were writing that roster off. They must have been underperforming heavy online, heavy. But I think they came out and showed why you know, they are who they are.
Well,
Right.
I think Lethal was in a real rough spot for about 2 months, and he played really good this event, especially once they got to the weekend. So
Some may argue, right, that if they didn't perform or if they didn't win this weekend or didn't place well, and Lethal had an off weekend, he might have been out. You think he would have been one to go, or do you think they would have kept him after that?
well, they've also had a weird kind of. I mean, there's all the Royal 2 kind of drama early on
Oh,
in
yeah,
the fall when the game
yeah.
came out. Like they've had a weird kind
Yeah,
of
that's crazy.
few months.
But they've been teaming with each other for like 5-6 years. I feel like.
Long time.
Yeah. But,
Somebody
I
said
mean, Halo's an interesting spot, man. Like Optic's the team I think. Just waiting to see them win an event because I think the skill on that team. If you watch them play all weekend, they were tremendous. They ran that hot Sentinels team on Sunday, and then I would have expected Optic to do better against Cloud9, but I think a big learning lesson for that team is you're going to have some up and down throughout the tournament. They've just got to regain and kind of work their way and grind their way back to that grand final, and then at that point, anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, I wasn't saying that wasn't my opinion. I think they should drop Lethal. I'm just saying the community's opinion. That's what people have been saying. We're just reading the community and socials and stuff like that.
He was also tweeting that like he felt like he wasn't playing good prior to the event.
He said it at the end of stage. He went on stage when they won the tournament. He said, to all you haters, and he was about to say something. He said, never, you know what? Never mind. And he just let it be. Which kind of blue balled me a little bit. Gave me blue balls. But like next time, just fucking curse him out. Say, fuck you motherfuckers. I'm the champ. Look at the trophy. But instead
not everyone's gonna cut a promo, Tom.
I know, but Ben, he brought it up and then he backpedaled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was like, damn,
tough.
it like blue balled me.
Well, I said that in the live stream when you and I were doing the watch party. He did pump fake a little bit there,
I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him. A lot of people were talking shit about him, and look where he is now. Back on stage holding up another trophy. So, congratulations to the Sentinels boys. Somebody put in chat that Snipedown's already confirmed that he's going back to Apex. I don't know how true that is. But
Really? Wow.
I don't think that's true.
No. Wait.
Maybe.
He said
It might
something
be
to
true.
Nick Merckx. He said like a quote. I forgot what it was.
Oh, I don't know. Like, who knows? He was nasty at Apex, so.
Well, they have a big gap between events. Like there's a bunch of regional events coming up, and their next like major LAN is not until like the end of summertime. So there's a big gap now.
He said he was thinking about it.
Thinking about it, huh? Okay. All right, Eric. Okay. Listen, whatever Eric decides to do, man, he's got my support. Whatever he wants to do. Oh yeah, Jake Sucky's renting a bus. I don't know if you saw Jake Lucky. He's got a bus. He's gonna bring it across the fucking whole United States.
Wow.
And meet with different people at different places of the U.S. What do you guys think about that? It's pretty cool.
He's starting in LA, so are you gonna go meet him?
If Jake Lucky, somebody needs to clip this and send it to him. If he wants to come to LA with the bus, I'd hop on the fucking bus with Jake Lucky.
I think he said he's starting the trip in LA.
All right. So what? Is he gonna drive around LA for a little bit? Where is he going? How long's he stayed? But we'll see what happens there. But other than that, man, I think
we didn't talk about Berlin Control yet at all.
Did we not talk about that?
No,
I thought we talked about it last episode.
Yeah, last episode, yeah.
You talked about last episode?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
My question to you is, Asim, now you've had a couple weeks playing it. Like, what are your thoughts on the map? Do you think it's going to be a good addition?
I think it's better than Gabba 2, but it's not better than Tuscan. I know I said it was better than Tuscan before, but now that we played it, I think it's in the middle.
That map is ass, bro.
But it's entertaining as fuck, I will say that.
You think so?
It is,
yes.
The thing now with Berlin Control getting in, everybody's picked Team A all year because you want that control pick. Now that you've got 3 maps, the value in having the first band in control is not as high.
True. It's a good point.
So I'm very curious how teams are going to prioritize. Do you want the first map pick or do you want the second map pick? And how sides break on some of these maps. We might see veto strategy changing a lot. Maybe not so much at this this event, but you might see an evolution going into major 3 and 4. There's how teams kind of approach that procedure now.
I think it'll help for the fact that the Team A was getting to pick the map, but I think Berlin will have like sub 15% pick rate, maybe sub 10%.
Yeah, the thing I'll say about Berlin is that it's very I don't want to say it's very offensive favored, but it's It's like definitely like on more the offensive side, and like the type of like plays that are being made because of how close you spawn to each other, like you'll see some crazy shit go down. Like we've been having some crazy like 3 pieces and like crazy B caps on Berlin just
Yeah.
because the defensive team spawns like so close to it. So I think you'll see some crazy shit at the event if it gets played,
Mhm.
but I don't think a lot of people are gonna pick it.
Oh, great question by somebody who just
I don't think
resubbed.
anyone will.
Great question. Somebody said, "Do you think mouse and keyboard will ever be in the CDL?" Bro, I had an argument about this with Zinni, with Tony, a week or two ago, and on stream, I said, "Zinni, is mouse and keyboard allowed in the CDL?" I'm pretty sure right now, if players wanted to plug in a mouse and keyboard, they can and play with a mouse and keyboard if they wanted to.
I don't think
I
so.
asked
I think it's controller
Spence.
only.
I asked Spence, when we ran out to dinner one night, and he said, "Yeah, you can use it. I'm pretty sure you can use it." That's what he told me. I say, Spence, are you kidding me, Spence? I'm back in there. You know, that's what he
Well,
said.
the rules would have to change because they used to do the controller checks, no?
Chat, for a
But,
lot
like,
of
before, I
for,
know it was controller only.
for a lot of people saying, "Wait, what the fuck?" COD is a lot harder, in my opinion. Multiplayer COD is a lot harder on keyboard and mouse. But a lot of people's argument is like you could do things on a keyboard that you can't on a controller, but it goes both ways. There's a lot of things you can do on a controller that you can't do on a mouse and key. I think the main thing that people think about is like when people used to keyboard back in the day, Envoy, right? Like, didn't they have aim assist and a keyboard and mouse? They had aim assist and a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
They were plugging in the Zims. And that
Yeah, they were
shit
plugging in
was
the Zims.
probably
Yeah, because
nuts, bro.
I like
That was probably hacks,
console
bro.
to do that.
Dude, if I had mouse and key with aim assist, forget it, bro.
But
Forget
ever
it.
since Modern Warfare, even if you plugged in a keyboard to the console, it disabled the aim assist. But I think that was only with Modern Warfare. Before that, yeah, you had aim assist
Yeah, you had aim
consoles
assist,
with
yeah.
keyboards.
Like, bro, up close on mouse and key, it is very difficult to keep up with like, when people are sliding and b-hopping and shit. Like, you need to be
Yeah.
twisted to hit to make sure you're hitting those shots consistently up close. You know, so it's interesting to know that you could potentially play with a keyboard and mouse. That is weird. Yeah, it's something to think about. But other than that, any other topics, Ben, Pat, anything else that was going on you guys want to talk about? You think we're good to go?
No, but Ben, no more of these fucking 6 months breaks, bro.
Yeah, bro, we gotta, dude. This
There's
break
another
is
break coming up, too. There's
bro,
another break.
This break
I
is
heard.
just
What are
terrible.
you looking at me for, man? What do I gotta do?
Yeah,
with
you
this?
don't do anything,
mean?
but you come on, let in the
You run
chat. What the fuck?
production,
man?
you schedule the event, you run
You're
the
that guy,
league.
Ben. What do
You
you
do
mean?
everything.
Yeah,
You do
we
everything.
We just do production and broadcast. Speaking of,
You're probably working on 2023 right now.
Oh.
I'm excited for no come on that, but I'm excited for this event. We haven't had kind of a multi-stream event in a second. I know Daniel Sai confirmed it on Monday.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick. The fact that they have
we're-
multiple streams is
you
fire.
know, and I think from our end, and like just to kind of speak in kind of expectations, that I think our goal is to, we're gonna have the main match on Alpha, but when we're not in game, like on the Alpha match, we're gonna try and show you the action that's going on elsewhere in the venue and really keep you up to date. For because there are people watching on mobile, they're not gonna be sitting, like Tom with his multi YouTube watching all 4 streams. So we want to make sure that everybody's kind of aware of all this action going on. I think it's gonna be super useful too on Friday when we get kind of towards the qualification scenarios and you have a lot of simultaneous matches. That'll be kind of super key. So really excited. And I also think actually, you know what? I'm gonna pause there. There's a couple of surprises. You'll see them more.
Oh
on
shit!
Thursday.
Oh
Stay
man!
tuned.
Here come the blue balls again, Asim. My balls have been on fire, bro. This shit keeps happening, dude.
But
people,
Tom, you know what's,
they
you know
always
what's the
do
great
that,
thing
man.
about this event? You know what's the great thing about this event?
What,
It's in
what?
Columbus.
Yeah,
We're
no,
back,
that's
baby.
cool. That's cool. I mean, I'm not
That's dope.
back. You're back, but I'm not back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know, it is what it is.
Hopefully they don't got y'all staying at those apartments, bro. Cause
Yeah, I got robbed, but no, they didn't. They
Yeah,
won't.
Tommy got
They
robbed,
won't
Tommy
have
got
you guys.
robbed.
They won't have you guys over there. They won't.
No,
Definitely not.
everybody's in hotels. I can already
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
that.
They learned. They. Bro, well, it's not their fault. I got robbed.
No,
It's
it's not
nobody's
their fault.
fault. But
Yeah, no,
they definitely want to make sure you guys are in an area where none of that stuff happens. Which, if you're in a hotel, that's good. That's fantastic. I'm excited to watch you guys play, man. So I'm excited to see how you guys go back in. How you guys been playing? You been playing good? Let me guess.
Yeah,
amazing,
we're playing good.
incredible.
Yeah, we look great.
You're playing incredible. All right, man. Well, that's going to do it for us, man. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of The Flank. I'm not sure. Actually, Ben, you're going to have to hit a putt real quick. But when's the next one? Because are we running them on Thursday and Friday? It's going to be hard.
No,
What
what
would
you
it be
guys,
hard?
what you guys should do
There's
is
12 matches on Thursday,
No, no,
12
no, just
matches
get
on Friday.
highlights. Get highlights.
Bro,
Yeah, right, but what time are they
Tom,
gonna end?
We talked about
Oh,
this
yeah, true.
we talked about this last week. No, there's only 3 match windows a day. It's not going to be super crazy.
Okay, well, listen, if we don't end super duper late, I don't know because there's so many matches, so I don't know what.
We
You're-
might as well just do
bro,
quick ones then,
No,
right?
Ben just explained it to
Recap?
y'all.
Bro,
Ben just explained it to
you're
y'all.
forgetting the whole. We had a whole conversation about this, like
Oh,
a
shit.
week and a half ago.
Tommy's papaing it up, bro.
No, I
Dude.
listen. I don't even remember that.
Listen, I talked with Tom about this. I think it's gonna be impossible to cover all 12 games in a given day.
No,
I
I
don't
remember
think
us
I
talking
know.
about that.
So,
I remember that. What don't I
think
remember?
the goal is chat about highlights from each kind of match window. Maybe there's probably a game or two that's an effing banger. We can cover specific maps, but overall, I think it's to be whipping around talking about who's the day's winners, losers, who struggled. What was there a crazy upset? Did someone fry? What kind of plays did we see that we were crazy? We want to break them down. Like it's gonna be more structured like that, and you all in the chat kind of let
Effing
Tom and
banger.
Pat know where you want to go with the show.
But that's
Look
what
at
I'm
the guy
saying.
in the
I don't
chat.
think we should do map breakdowns regardless.
no.
because
How
there's
many-
gonna be 12 series, and I'm not even gonna be able to watch them.
Bro, there might be some situationals y'all want to break down though. Again, chat. This is gonna be a little bit experimental. Let Tom and Pat know when you guys are watching the show where you want it to go.
Listen,
we're gonna feel
strictly
it out.
highlights and
Uh,
overview.
Yeah, and I'm gonna reach out to Parasite too. I'm sure Haggy would love to come on this weekend, so I'll hit him up and see if he wants to hop in and co-host it up with me and Pat because I know Ben's gonna be a very busy man.
Well, I'm confused though, because Ben is gonna be in his home state.
Yeah, he's gonna be in his home state. He could very well do the show if he wants
Yeah,
to.
but
It's up to
I
him.
gotta work.
Nah,
I gotta
yeah,
work.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
but-
kidding.
but-
I'm
but-
just kidding. Give me
But
people.
you know what, Ben? I'm tired of this shit. Hit the pot now. Hit the pot.
I'm gonna get my putter.
Go get your putter, ladies and gentlemen. Get your votes in. Get your fucking votes in. All right, Asim, where you think he's going? Pat's gonna say wide left.
Yep.
I'm
It's
gonna
going
say-
wide left. It's going off the mat, wide left.
I'm gonna say, like,
He's going
slightly
off
left.
the map. You think slightly left?
Yeah.
Listen, bro, this guy was looking like
Yo,
a
he's
fucking
going all the way down the
bro.
hall.
Bro, he was looking like a straight referee today, bro. Hitting us with technical fouls and shit.
I know this guy is.
Yo,
literally a
you
ref
look
right
like Ben. You look like the guy Find Waldo in the books.
Scott Foster. Oh, I was
You know Find Waldo in the books and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You open up the book and there's a bunch of people and you gotta find where Waldo is, and he's always wearing the striped shirt like that. It was like a type of or Where's Waldo or
Where's
something like that.
Waldo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the name of the book. Go look it up if you guys are interested. Go copy it. It's a fun
Let's go with
book.
Ben's lighting.
Bro,
This is the part.
Ben, what are you doing, bro?
He's responding to an email or something, bro.
There you go. Okay. Oh, he's got the slippies on. Yup, he's got the slippers on as always. When he's got those slippers on, he's ready to go.
They smell like shit.
Slippers on, smelling like fucking shithole.
Whoa. Yeah, move it back.
Here we go. There we go, Ben.
He tried to get like a 6-inch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Asim stepping up to the green. He's gonna try and sink the ball, and he's gonna sink it. He's gonna sink it, ladies and gentlemen, right before the pro-am. We've been on a little bit of a break here, folks.
Let's go.
But that doesn't stop Benjamin Asim. Even the 1 month break in COD doesn't stop Ben from hitting the golf course every morning, does it? Does it, Ben? Motherfucker, put your headset back up, Ben. Put your headset. Ben, how many times you hit the golf course last week? Be honest.
Well, listen, I kind of played 2 rounds of golf on Sunday, so
Yes, I told you guys, this guy is fucking prepared, ladies and gentlemen. He's prepared. But guys, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode of The Flank, man. I know things have been a little slow. We haven't been uploading any episodes. That's because there's been nothing to talk about. There's nothing going on, nothing happening, no games, no matches, nothing. It's been a super long break. I think people are just taking time to just kind of chill out, do other things. I've been playing other games. I've been live every day, so make sure you guys follow the stream if you haven't. And guys, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back Thursday, Friday. We're going to be doing watch parties, flanks, so the whole 9 yards this whole weekend. So stay tuned for a whole bunch of new episodes. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on. Go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running social. And as always, guys, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank. Peace out, guys.
Have a good day.
it's
Peace.